have success, in order to remain habitually doing this business the right way, in order to do more deals and make more money. Is that kind of paraphrasing your question there?
Yeah, I have some gaps. I'll get a couple leads and there won't be anything for a while. I'll get a couple, there won't be anything for a while. And I haven't been able to get into a routine in order to keep pushing things out every day
Yeah.
in order to have the leads flowing.
That's a very good question. Thank you for asking that. I can answer this 1,000 different ways for 1,000 different people. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you some questions. Really, there are certain things we have to do to be successful in this or any other business. Ron has identified the 5 steps to success. Do you remember what they are? Step one.
No, I don't.
Okay. Write this down. Everybody should write this down if you don't know this already. Live by this. Step one, generate leads and prospects. Step two, pre-screen the leads. Step three, construct and present offers. Step four, follow up. Step five, close quickly. I have slightly revised that into a 5P system. It goes a little something like this: prospect, pre-screen, pitch, pursue, provide. Kind of sums up the 5 steps of success, just in a little 5P kind of way. Makes it
I do
snazzier.
remember now.
Okay, I figured you would. So you've got to do something to get the leads coming in. If you can stay consistent doing something every day or every other day or every week, in the beginning, whenever you're getting started in something, you're scrambling and going crazy. And it all starts with that one first thing, getting the leads. If you don't have leads coming in, people, in this case, with a house to sell for you to talk to, none of the other steps are going to matter because you don't have anybody to talk to. So we like to start you off with the free to super cheap stuff: Craigslist, Zillow, for sale by owner, and the rest. Okay, scraping leads and everything. You can start off with these people because they're easy to find, and then you talk to them. You get your VA to talk to them, or if you want to be aggressive, or if you don't have much of a budget, you can talk to them yourself. And we get the PI sheet filled out. Either you do that or someone else does it. That's part of the pre-screening process, step two. Step one, find people to talk to. Step two, pre-screen them, have a conversation, ask the questions, get the necessary information we need to know in order to find out what we can possibly do with them or not. Now, once we get into the pre-screening process, we find out the information, we can find out, hey, can we buy this house all cash for a cheap price, like a wholesale deal or something like that, right? Or is it a terms deal, cash or terms? Because we buy houses 2 ways. So, and we can transition to the terms if they have a nicer house and they're willing to take payments over time. That is part of the pre-screening process. Once we get to there, then we can get to step three, where we construct and present offers. And if you've been to any Ron training, which we all have, because that's why we're here, you know that we don't make the offers. We get who to make us the offer.
The seller.
Correct. The seller. By asking
Question.
questions, right? Okay. So we have either all cash question. If I can pay you cash and close quickly, what's the least you could take? If it's a terms deal, we use the $1 million
Question.
script.
Script.
$1 million script. Okay. So brush up on that if you need it. So basically, I'm taking a long time to answer a short question here. You should be doing something every day for your business that satisfies one of those 5 steps. If you're just getting started or still early, or if your bottleneck in your business is that you're not getting enough leads, you got to fix that number one, first and foremost. Okay. So if you get up every day and you don't know what to do and you don't have any leads, start there. Start by taking 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour, scrape the leads off of the internet in the beginning, and then do step two, call them yourself or send them over to your VA if you have one, and get them to call to get the PI sheet filled out so that you can get that information. And then you're going to need to be the one to do the closing call. So you need to call them and follow up as soon as you're able to do so. If you're a little bit more evolved, then you can either have an acquisitionist doing this stuff for you eventually, where eventually you really want to begin with the end in mind. You want to be the one who is making decisions. That's going to be eventually your main role and your main job. You want to be in a position where all you got to do is make decisions. I've heard it described as the 3D approach to running a business. Okay. Now, this is not for people starting out. This is where you eventually may want to be getting to go. You want to have the 3D approach, which is decide, delegate, and disappear. Okay. You decide what needs to happen. You delegate it to somebody or something to get it done. And then poof, you disappear. My horrible magician act. All right. So that's what you want to do. Now, wherever your bottleneck is, you got to fix it, starting with step one, generate leads. So if you don't have any leads coming in, guess what? That's what you got to do first and foremost. Another thing you can do to get leads is have some marketing in place, right? Direct mail, online marketing, Facebook, Google, TikTok ads. Uh, you can also do it for free by going on to forums and interacting with people, going into groups, joining up. Go on to networking meetings and network with people there. My God, there's so many people out there that have no clue about how to do terms deals like you guys and gals have been learning and know how to do, right? So find someone who's a wholesaler and see if they have terms deals that come across their desk that they don't know what to do with. And they usually would just throw those deals in the trash because the seller doesn't have any equity. That's a suggestion there, a little advanced. So the bottom line idea is know what you got to do and do something to support those 5 steps right there. If you got to get up in the morning, I would first recommend starting every day after you go to the bathroom, of course. Do some kind of exercise, even if it's just for 5 stinking minutes. Walk around the block, uh, lift some weights, do some jumping jacks, walk around the house a few times, up and down the stairs. Do something to get your blood flowing. Because as the body goes, the mind flows. Right? That's just me. I love to work out every day. And that's what helps me get going. Then I'm in a better mood. I have more energy. I find myself getting tired in the afternoon, but if I keep the blood flowing, I feel more energized. That's another thing. Whenever you pick up the phone and call these sellers, I recommend that you do something to get the blood flowing as well. Don't just sit there. Let me call these people. Tired. You're gonna not be inspiring at all. You're not gonna have energy yourself, and you're not gonna inspire the other person to want to do business with you. So I recommend getting like a headset, right? And then walk around as you're talking. Be organized and have the energy going. That'll help. All right. My goodness, I took a long enough time to answer that question. So, but stay consistent and do something every day for your business. If you can stay focused on those 5 steps of success, it will help you know what you need to do. Ask yourself, where is the bottleneck here? And that's one of the reasons why a lot of very smart people get us mentors to work with them so we can see what they can't see. We can see what you cannot see. And we can help guide you where you need to go that you don't know quite yet to do on your own and also hold you accountable and kick your butt when we need to. Right, Rex? Awesome. All right. So I hope, give me a thumbs up if that answers your question, or unmute yourself and ask again away if I didn't.
No, that was good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So do something every day for your business and be consistent. 2 things that are always hard about anything: getting started and staying consistent. So you get those out of the way, you're good to go. And it becomes a habit. All right. Who's next? Who has a question for me? Raise your hand or raise your hand, digitally or literally. Jeff Clayton, you are unmuted if you want to chime in. Looks like you might be thinking about something. You up to no good?
Oh, yeah. I'm always thinking, think too much. Got to start taking more action than sitting around thinking.
Ah,
I got
you one of those thinker brains?
Yeah, yeah. But I recognize it and I'm recovering from it. So trying to at least. Here, I got a question for you. I'm looking at a deal right now. It's unfortunately it's listed on the MLS. But I started talking to the lady who is in the house right now, and she's like the common law wife of the owner of record. They're a few months behind on their mortgage. But what would be your advice to deal with the fact that she has now listed the property, but I started talking to her before that agreement was in place? And should I go through the realtor or stay talking to her? What do you think?
So you started talking to a lady who was selling a house before they listed it, but now that
Yes,
it
sir.
is listed, you're wondering what should be the right course of action.
Yes,
Am I
sir.
understanding correctly?
Yes, sir. Mhm.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. So, you're going to first to answer your question simply, you will need to go through the realtor because the property is now listed. It's an
Mhm.
agreement, and you don't want to get messed up with that thing that we've heard uh, called tortious interference with a contract. That's a
Mhm.
big no-no. They will win because it is an agreement.
Mhm.
Now, going forward, here's something that y'all may, here's a writer downer for all y'all. Whenever you're talking to someone and there's a hint that they might list the property and you're not able to come to an agreement and do business, you want to say, hey, if you're seriously thinking about listing this property and we can't get this done before then, I would recommend that you add me as an exception or an exclusion from this agreement when you go to list the property. Because we were talking first before you decide to list the property. And if we wind up doing business, if your agent is not able to get your property sold
Yeah.
in a timely fashion for a good price that you're happy with, and you want to do business with me, then we have that exception already on the record, and the realtor knows that we were talking first.
Mhm.
Okay? Keep that in mind. Now, having gotten that out of the way, when you talk to the agent, you may want to let them know, hey, I was talking to this person before they decided to list the property,
Mhm.
and we had discussed the possibility of doing it this way. If,
Mhm.
by the way, did you have any kind of uh, conversation with the seller where they were considering doing something with you? And if so, what was it?
Just in general terms, just ask her general questions about the loan balance. Were they behind? I might be interested in it. She says, "Well, we're really in dire straits. We're selling our furniture and stuff like that, just trying to raise money to live on." But so just general things like that, but nothing really specific. But she knows I'm interested. Yes, to answer your question.
Okay. Well, there's
Yes,
definitely motivation there, so that's key. What state are you and this property located?
Texas,
Texas.
Texas.
Okay.
Mhm.
Texas has a very short time frame for foreclosures.
Right.
How far behind are they? Do you know?
She said 2 months. So
Two
by now,
months.
it's 3 months. 3 months
Oh,
going on.
wow.
Yeah.
Do you know if there has been any action initiated to begin the foreclosure proceedings? And if so, how much time do they have before the auction?
There has not been. I checked the deed records and looking for a notice of sale and notice of default. Nothing's been filed yet.
Okay. Okay. And do you know the numbers of this deal? Is it something that is worth pursuing? How much is it worth? How much do they
It's
owe? What's their monthly payment? You said they're 2, 3 months behind.
yeah.
And
It's
are there any repairs needed?
Yeah, it's a lot of repairs. It's um, it's a Victorian home that's probably 80 years old, but it's in Galveston, and Galveston has got a lot of Victorian historic districts and houses. And here's the numbers: the after repaired value is conservatively $490,000. The original loan was about 330,000, 333 or 330, something like that. Their monthly payments are, I believe she said about $2,300, something like that. I don't have my notes right here in front of me; it's just off the top of my head, and and they're behind almost three months now at this point in time. The repairs needed are it's 2,500 square feet. It's structurally sound, but it's just really, really rough. I mean, it would just be a total makeover in many ways. Here's one thing: the kitchen has been moved to the second floor in past years, which is a really oddball place for a kitchen. So that's going to
Yeah.
be a lot of repairs to get the kitchen down where it needs to be. And
Can you give me a ballpark dollar figure about what the repairs might be needed to get it into that R price frame?
I'd say 2,500 square feet times probably $100 a square foot. So, well, no, that's way too much. Probably,
$100 a
probably
square foot. Yeah, that's
what would be a going rate for a major renovation per square foot? Labor and materials probably uh,
major.
40, 50,
Yeah,
fifty
I'd
dollars.
say $40 a square foot would be a
Oh,
big one.
so that's 100,000 then. 100,000 in total
Okay.
renovation.
So you now do they have only the one mortgage on it, or are there any junior liens that you know of?
No junior liens that I know of.
One and only one mortgage.
Yes, sir.
And the balance is 300 something,
330.
330, give or take,
Uh-huh.
few months out. Okay, so
It's kind of thin.
arrearages, attorney's fees and everything, you're looking at 340 to 350 ballpark, plus another 100 grand
Mhm.
for repairs. Are they living in it, I imagine, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you haven't been to the house to take a look at it and smell it?
Haven't been inside, just to talk to her on the outside of the house. Yeah. But
Okay.
she,
Oh, so you went to the house, so you just didn't go inside.
that's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did it look from the outside?
Shabby, but salvageable. I mean,
Okay.
very salvageable, but just neglected over probably 15, 20 years. Yeah.
And they just want to move on, or what do they want out of the situation?
Yeah, they just want cash. They just want to cure their current fact that they're just flat broke. The man who's the titled owner, who I haven't met, um, is has some legal problems and is in the criminal courts, and I think he's got some problems. Maybe abuse or whatever. I'm not sure. So he may be even in jail right now. I'm not sure, but that's a lot of her issues that she was talking about is she couldn't really, speak for him. He's the person that I really need to talk to. But I
Right.
just had one contact so far, and I just trying to figure out if
Okay.
it's even worth pursuing. Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts here. And by the way, I have done a lot of pre-foreclosure deals. So I made my first million in real estate uh, in many different ways. Short sales, curing arrearages, doing all kinds of things subject to, and
Mhm.
having all kinds of fun there. My personal joy was sticking it to the banks. Oh man, I don't know why it gave me such a rush. But in any case, so there's a couple possibilities here. I don't necessarily like the deal, but there may be something there because I don't know how accurate your numbers are, especially with regard to the fact of the repairs.
Mhm.
Okay, it may be 100 grand, maybe more, maybe less.
Yeah.
So when you look at a deal like this, a few ways we can make it happen are we have got to have a come to Jesus type of meeting with the seller and ask them these questions that we need to find out. Sounds like you've done a pretty good job with that. And then also let them know what the options are.
Mhm.
So the main options here, Mr. Seller, are you could do nothing
Mhm.
and stick your head in the sand. And what's going to happen then here in Texas? They're going to come and take your house. You're going to get nothing. You'll be kissing the curb and out on your butts in no time with
Mhm.
nothing to show for it.
Mhm.
Nobody wants that.
Right.
Second option is you could do and this is just for you to know as well. You could do a short sale,
Mhm.
and in most places, I'm not exactly sure about Texas off the top of my head. There's many states that require the property to be, and many lenders that require the property to be listed before they
Huh.
consider doing a short sale. It's just a common way of doing things nowadays. It wasn't
Mhm.
always that way. But
Yeah.
do you know anything about short sales, Jeff?
Yes, sir. I've taken a few short classes on them. The seller has to end up with zero. That's the main thing on short sales, right? They're not allowed to walk with any money whatsoever.
That's right. And if you do wind up giving them money, you could say that it's not from the sale of the house. You could say you bought some personal property, you
Yeah,
know? So
furniture, car, whatever. Right.
exactly. And however degree of truth that needs to be, you want to have a heart. You don't want to just leave somebody with nothing to walk out on the street and be worse off than they are, of
Right.
course, especially if you're going to be making a good chunk of money on a deal, as my
Right.
personal, and I'm sure yours as well. So doing a short sale means that you would have to get a big financial package collected and have the cooperation of the seller, and you would also need to have a authorization to release information signed by the seller that gives you the right to talk to their lender on their behalf.
Mhm.
You're also, since it's a listed property, you're also going to need to get the agent's cooperation as well.
Mhm.
Whole bunch of paperwork that needs to be done, but the good news is that you will have the agent to help you out, hopefully, and get it worked out. They
Mhm.
should hopefully either themselves be familiar with how to do a short sale, or they will have someone in their office in their brokerage firm that will be able to help make that happen and make it a possibility. The
Yeah.
downside of that is that you will need to get the short sale accepted for a price that would work for us to do an all cash deal, which, as we know, is Mayo times 70%. It was up to 75%. This market may be a little shaky. To be honest, I'd rather be much more lower. I'd rather be lower and more conservative with that number, even if it's over the ARV is over 300,000. I'd still would probably want to use like a number like 70%.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm just going to round it up and say 500 grand, the ARV, 70%
Mhm.
of that is 350,000
Mhm.
minus 100,000 for the repair estimate,
Mhm.
minus a cushion for the fee, let's say 20 grand. So you're
Mhm.
looking at what, 230 right there, right?
30. Right, yeah.
Yeah. So that would be your top mail that you'd want to be swinging with if
Mhm.
you're going to work out an all cash offer with the bank. That way you have some wiggle room that you can do something like wholesale it if you need to.
Right.
I don't have, are you at all comfortable with doing any rehabs or screwing around with fixing up properties yet?
I've done two small ones, like 1,000 square foot houses, but nothing in the realm of a historic house. So, um, I think,
Historic house?
well, it's in a historic area. I'm not sure if
Oh,
it's a historic district, but it's a
if it's
big,
a historic district, historic house,
yeah,
me personally, I wouldn't even touch it because there's
yeah,
way too many
restrictions,
requirements
regulations.
for dealing with
Yeah,
those houses in those areas. They're
right.
going to want just the right shade of this, just the
Yeah,
right color of that, just
right,
everything has to be perfect. Find
right.
out if it's a historic. For me, that's a disqualifying point because it's just too much of a pain in the to deal with.
Yeah.
If it's not historic, we can still discuss it. Another thing would be possible in a lot of other situations is you could get them to deed you the property depending on how much the arrearages are, it doesn't sound like they're all that much. And then you could step in, cure the arrearages, own the
Mhm.
property because they would deed it over to you, take title on the land trust, and then
Mhm.
go in there and see what you need to do after they leave and sell it on a work for equity type basis. If
Mhm.
you have to do a little bit of work to fix it up, you would own it, so you'd be more comfortable doing that. Make sure you know the numbers, and then do just a little bit of cleanup, not a lot, and get someone who is interested in doing a work for equity type of situation. That would be your exit strategy. Is all that making sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is. Um, so a short sale just sounds like the number would have to be so low, the lender would have to take such a haircut, they probably wouldn't do it, would they?
We cannot ever think for someone else or another institution.
Yeah.
Don't ever think about that. Our job is to do some marketing, make decisions, get a
Yeah.
deal in, make offers, and then
Right.
see what happens. While at the same time mitigating, limiting your exposure and your risk. And in
Mhm.
this case, your exposure and your risk would be in the beginning would be $10 to $100 for your binder deposit. Well, if it's a listed property, you're probably going to need to put $500 or $1,000 into an escrow account, but
Right.
make sure that you have good contingencies. And you're probably going to need to use the realtor's agreement because it is a listed property.
Right.
So if you can do that and have yourself some contingencies here, and then you
Mhm.
start to work what you need to work and make the offers,
Mhm.
you're going to need to be pulling a lot of strings very quickly, and you're going to need to talk to the bank to see what you can possibly do. And the real estate agent who's listing the property will be a big asset to help facilitate these things.
Mhm.
Are you working
Correct.
with a mentor or anybody?
No, sir. Not yet. I want to
Okay.
in the future, in the near future, but
You
I,
definitely should be. This is why you need a mentor to help you out with this kind of stuff and coach you through this process so you can have the highest likelihood of getting it done so you can get the deal worked out.
yeah,
This or any other deal, and many other reasons why you need a mentor. Now, are you able to make it to Quick Start in Jacksonville next week?
I'm coming next week. Yes, sir.
Good man. Bring this deal and any other deals you got with you
Right.
and shake things down and break things down to get some satisfaction, action, and traction so you can get a reaction. Okay.
I like that poem or rhyme, whatever that is. That sounds good. It's easy to
Sounds
remember.
good. You heard it here first. All right. And tell Ron I said hello. If I don't make it out next week, I don't think I'm going to be there, but if I don't make it out, tell Ron hello and that you spoke with me here on this and I
Okay.
told you to bring it in and get some help.
Okay, Tony, I'll sure do it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Jeff. Good talking with you. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming on. Timothy Matthews, it looks
Yeah,
like
it
you got
does
your hand.
rhyme.
Huh? I heard somebody talking. Timothy Matthews, unmute yourself and come on the show, brother. What you got?
Hey Tony. Hey, I had a few questions. I got a property um, through lease option, and I've been looking to find out a tenant buyer for it. I've been doing the usual marketing, the yard sign. Well, I can't put.
Yeah, I said that showing does that.
Hello?
If you are not Timothy Matthews, please mute yourself.
Okay. Yeah, so I was just saying
Sorry
that
about that.
yeah, no problem. It's a townhouse, so the there's a sign in the window. I can't put the sign in the yard, so I have the sign in the window. I have the pointer signs pointing to the house from various corners of the neighborhood. I've done the Facebook marketplace posts and all the usual online marketing, Craigslist, Zillow, a thousand other rental sites. Um,
Okay.
Not getting much traction though. I tried multiple ways of advertising, including the price in the advertisement and not including the price in the advertisement. Still not getting many hits. So just wanted to see what do you all recommend for something like this, where I'm trying to find a tenant buyer for a townhouse. What's the updated marketing strategies for this time of year for, you know, um, townhouse that trying to find a buyer for, a tenant buyer for.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the question, Timothy. I appreciate that. So everyone to bring you up to speed and to make sure I got it. Timothy, you have a property under agreement that you have control over as a lease option, or do you own it?
Lease option.
Okay, so you're doing a sandwich lease option here on a property you don't own, and you're looking to find a qualified tenant buyer so you can get you some of that big down payment non-refundable option consideration money, get a good tenant, you can make some monthly income and maybe a nice big old fat back end, and you're not having an easy time finding a qualified tenant buyer anybody just yet, despite your multiple massive efforts to market this property. Am I summarizing correctly?
That's right, including having an open house.
You had an open house.
Yeah.
Ooh, what state are you in? Where's this property located?
It's in Illinois. It's in a suburb of Chicago called Warrenville.
Warrenville. Okay. Well, there's a problem. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, now Chicago has this reputation for rentals. I know.
Yeah. I was just out in Illinois, by the way, a couple weeks ago. We laid my uncle to rest. He was 92 and just passed away. He was pretty sick, and that's in mid-eastern Illinois. He was a farmer, so I was just out there, but I didn't go to Chicago, not this time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Eastern.
so you've gone on Facebook Marketplace. You put the ad up on for this property on Craigslist too, I assume, right?
Yes.
And pointer signs and had an open. How many people came to your open house and how did you market that?
In all my online listings, I have it in the description. In the
Hmm.
listings that I can put anything in the title, I have it in the title as well. I have even the pointer signs had the open house dates and time on the pointer signs.
Great. Okay. Okay. How many people came?
Um, I'll say four
Oh,
came.
four.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And what else did you do to make the open house an event? Make it exciting in your marketing?
Um, I'm not sure what I could have done. I put the pictures in there and made sure I put the nicest picture first. I didn't actually say free cookies at the open house though, but there were free cookies.
Okay, we'll put that in the marketing and you want to do whatever you can to get as many people there, even if you got to tell a few friends to come. You want to drive as many people there. You want to make it like the circus is coming to town, Ron likes to say. I know it's a townhouse, so there's limited things that you can do, but on the day of the open house, uh, say screw the whatever and put the signs up in front of the house.
Yeah,
You know?
well, yeah, it was a windy day as well, so I
Ah,
thought about that. So
yeah.
yeah,
Chicago does have windy days, I know.
yeah, it's the windy city.
Yeah, that's right. Put streamers, balloons, hopefully not on a windy day.
Oh yeah, you're
Whatever you
right.
got to do. Also, if you can, another thing you want to do is are you doing anything to network with anybody? Are you a member of any local RIAs?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, are you contacting any of your fellow investors to see if they have any qualified tenant buyers that they're looking to find a house for?
some of them I have, yes. They know that I'm doing this. I could reach out to some more for sure. But yeah, I
Do
know
that.
some are
Give
doing
them a
it.
little piece. If they find a qualified tenant buyer, give them a little piece of the non-refundable option consideration. Not the rest, just the upfront.
All right. How much would you think is an appropriate amount?
Ooh, it's a good question. I typically have done 500 to $1,000, sometimes
Okay.
10%. Depends on how desperate you are and how savvy they are
Yeah, for real.
and what you negotiate. And
Yeah.
always ask, what would you like in exchange? If you find me a qualified tenant buyer, what you have? And they'd say half. You say, get out of here. Hey, come on, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's good. That's a good idea. I did think about paying for those one-time MLS listing fees and just get it everywhere else. Um, I don't think I can do that though because I don't have title to the property. I tried it with
Correct. Yeah.
Zillow and they were
Unless
like,
you have a special agreement and ability to do so. And in Illinois, they got these wacky laws for wholesalers. I don't know what other wacky laws they have as far as this stuff is concerned,
right.
off the top of my head. So you want to do what you can to be as creative as possible. Um, make your do what you can for your online stuff to stand out.
Hmm.
Okay. Even if you got to go for the pictures, but also for the ad description. And if you want a good idea, man, go to Chat GPT and enter how can I make this I'm looking to sell a property. How can I make this grab attention in a better, faster, more engaging way? And watch the answers that you get. I'm a copywriter, so I do this stuff on the regular, but now we have this amazing thing that levels the field so you can use AI to help you come up with some great ideas and play with that stuff. Um, what do the pointer signs say?
Um, I have a generic like rent to own,
Okay.
no bank qualifying, no credit, and a arrow pointing to the direction of the house and my phone number.
Okay. Try maybe rent to own. Um, beautiful 3/2, however many square feet, move in ready, or
Mm,
move in before Christmas, and a phone number. You got to drive calls. Got to cast a wide net. You want to have as many people contacting you in your marketing, and the signs are the number one way of marketing a property. You got to get people contacting you. Now, in the beginning, you may be picking up the phones yourself. You definitely want to have a live answering service or something that will be able to handle those calls for you so that you're not
mhm.
going crazy. I've done a lot of deals. I've had signs and ads that, man, I got my phone was ringing 24 freaking 7.
Yeah.
Starting when my young kids were in diapers. I got no sleep. My ex-wife was ready to freaking kill me. she had, she needed any more reasons back then. But anyway, so you got to do what you can to get that phone ring and be more aggressive in different ways. I appreciate you asking the question here. Networking. Oh, here's another thing you can do. You can contact mortgage brokers in your local area and say, "Hey, man, you have anybody who has some down payment money, but their credit sucks, or just they really want and need a house in this area, but they're just not ready to qualify for a loan?" You talk to like 5, 10 loan brokers. You're going to find someone who's you can work with in that capacity. Say, "Yeah, man, I got a guy. He's about 6 months, 12 months out from getting a loan, and he needs a house, but he's got money to put down." I said, "Great, I have the perfect opportunity. Let's talk."
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Okay.
Same thing with
Um,
real estate agents. You know,
mm,
say, "Hey, I got a beautiful house, rent to own. If you have a buyer who's looking to buy, I'll give you a piece of this upfront option consideration when they eventually get. You may want to give them like 3% commission on the back end when they go to buy. It's
mhm,
very reasonable. It's up to you.
mhm.
Judgment call. You can negotiate something. Okay.
All right. Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I don't see any
Okay.
other hands raised yet, but go ahead.
So the another question I have is not related to this particular transaction. What I'm noticing um, is that when I'm talking to leads that may be interested in selling their house on terms, or they are interested. They actually admitted that they are, because these people are also investors sometimes. Um, Two things I'm noticing is that I'm starting to see that a lot of leads already have received offers from other investors like me who want to buy on terms, but the competition is putting down a lot of, I won't say a lot of money, but they're putting down money that I wouldn't offer. Like they're
Hmm.
putting down like $35,000 on a $200,000 house.
Wow.
Um, and some are putting down a lot more on some houses that maybe cost a little bit more too. So I guess this question is more so for, yeah, you, Tony, but maybe also for other people as well. Like what dollar amount would you say will be an acceptable amount to put down? Of course, we want to buy with nothing down, but with nothing down, it's not an option because maybe the seller is a little bit more savvy as an investor. What amount would you put down? Like, what's the maximum amount you would put down?
What's the maximum amount that you should put down on a terms deal? That's a judgment call, but it also has to make sense. Obviously, we want to buy with little to nothing down, and you got to get in light because your front end profit, as you know, is going to be the difference between what you give the seller and what you get from the tenant buyer or the owner financing buyer if you're able to buy with owner financing and sell with owner financing if you do that type of deal. Like in
Hmm.
Texas, okay, that's what they're going to want to be doing down there. So typically, I you just got to negotiate and got to see what you're looking at. But I would feel comfortable saying that I wouldn't be wanting to put down more than say 3%. Um, and I'd have to be getting some good equity there. If it's a tight deal, like if it's a $300,000 house and they're willing to sell on terms for like 290, I wouldn't feel they're gonna deed the house over. You're gonna work something out in that regard, you know.
Hmm.
There, I mean, because there's no equity there. So that's a different situation. So if there's a lot of equity and you're able to get some equity, you might, I might be more inclined to pay a little bit more, but not no 35 grand on a $200,000 house.
Yeah.
uh, unless it depends. If they own it free and clear, and all right, this is a little bit advanced here. If it's a $200,000 house, so they own the property free and clear, and they're willing to hold a note for the balance, but they need 35 grand down. Would you do that deal?
I wouldn't. That's just me.
Who would do that deal? Anybody? Raise your hand. $200,000 ARV. House needs no work. Let's assume. Okay, Rex, I see you. House needs no work. The seller will take 35 grand down. Most times we would walk away from that because it's too much money to put down. But a way that you can consider doing that is if the seller is willing to subordinate the balance of what they are going to take, you can borrow 35 grand, actually borrow 40, 45 grand from a private lender, install them as a first, have the seller take back a second for the balance. Now you're getting in for nothing down. Matter of fact, you put money in your pocket when you buy.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
Okay. A little bit
Yeah.
advanced, but that's something you can do. So it all depends. You have to look at it objectively. I can't give you a drop dead percentage. So you want to keep in mind that the more equity that they have and the better the deal you're able to work out, you may want to consider paying a little bit more. But otherwise, try to stay south of 3 to 5% as a down payment. Again, if it makes sense to do so. And also if you're going to be making some good cash flow and getting some good equity. Okay. And yeah, if the seller does need the money out of the situation, you can always, oh man, you can always ask them to refinance.
Hmm.
Okay. Say refinance, take the money out that they need up to 80% LTV, and then you'll take over the property from there.
Yeah, that's one way to do it too. I do see a lot of sellers who say they need to sell because they are, um, moving in with their newlywed and they're selling their house, or they're moving to a different state and they need the money to move. So I guess in that case, maybe refi to get their equity out and let me just take over their refinance loan, then that'll be a good option for them, maybe.
Yes, maybe only if they're able to qualify, if they're going to buy another house and they're able to qualify for the new loan with this other loan in place, which
Yeah.
is not everybody. Many people, listen, one of the hardest things for us to overcome is when somebody has to sell their house for as much money as they can because they need all the equity out and they need to get the existing loan paid off if they have one in order to buy a new house
Hmm.
because they need their equity out and they need the loan to be paid off. It's very hard for us to overcome something like that
Yeah,
because
that's
of their
true.
situation. If their situation changes and they're more flexible and they're willing to wait and they're not going to buy something else in the meantime and they can take payments, let's talk. But if they got to, they got to get their money right away and pay off the loan in order to qualify. And yeah, that's a bit more challenging. Now, if they don't have much equity, that's a different situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, good luck out there in Chi-Town.
Yeah, sure need it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Be safe out there. Thank you
All
for
right.
coming on, brother. Appreciate it. All right. All right. Well, we got maybe time for one more. Anybody else have a question? Derek, I saw that you said the audio is lagging a little bit here. I hope it's okay for you. Hope you're able to hear all the conversation here, at least. Anybody else have a question? Anyone else have something that you want to talk about, ask, or discuss?
Yeah, Tony Robert in Dallas again.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, when you were talking to Jeff a little bit ago, you threw out a number about like $40 a square foot for rehab. Did I understand that correctly, or did I misinterpret it?
That's what you heard. Yes, it's just a possibility. We don't know the situation, the overall numbers. That's just um, a decent, a higher price cost for a rehab.
Okay. Okay, so rule of thumb, I could use something like that.
Yeah, you could do that. Now, I would highly recommend that. Have you ever rehabbed a house or gotten any training in this regard?
Yes, I have.
Okay. From whom?
Well, from Ron, of course, but I was doing rehabs before I got with Ron.
Okay.
It's been
Okay.
a it's been a good many years since I've done one. I haven't done anything since before the plague. So I'm not
Okay.
real up on, I used to be able to walk into a house and say, okay, it's going to need this, that, and the other. It's going to be $35,000 and be pretty close one way or the other.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. You develop an instinct if you do it enough. Absolutely.
That's right. But right now, I don't know what costs are or anything. I mean, I'm not specifically looking at any rehabs, but if I come across something, it'd be nice to have a tool like that that I can use. Hey, 40 bucks a foot will probably do this. I'm sure it depends on the severity, what all needs to be done.
Yes, that's very true. And prices, as we all know, prices have gone up for everything. Rehabs have gone very expensive these days. And
Hmm.
this was a trend before COVID. COVID just put a super steroid shot into this whole thing.
Hmm.
So eh, I would recommend that you refamiliarize yourself with this stuff. I have some things that you can do to shorten the learning curve, whether you're an old salty old dog like you sound to be, or if you're just coming into the business. Um, you can basically do your marketing, talk to sellers, ask the questions. If it's a rehab deal, I pay all cash close quickly? What's the least you could take? And do the best that you can to run your numbers. Now, if you get the property under contract for whatever price, the only thing you have at risk is what? Your binder deposit, which is how much?
$10.
Yep. I like to say $10 to $100. Okay. If it's a more expensive, nicer, bigger house, give them a crisp hundred, give them a Hondo, make a better impression. If it's just whatever, $10 is fine. And that's when you get the property under contract, that's when your real due diligence begins. Now, one thing you can do is you can get contractors out there in your inspection period time to come out and take a look at the house with you. Ask them a billion questions. That you know what you're talking about. How much would this cost? What would be the total price for the rehab? 1, 2, 3 contractors. That's going to be a whole education in itself right there. You're going to get 3
Right.
different opinions, 3 different prices, and have 3 different experiences, and you'll be able to cull from all that and have a much better way to formulate the idea. Then you also want to wholesale the next couple houses or whatever because you don't have anything at risk. You're not getting in there yourself. For the love of God, don't do that. And you're not rehabbing the house and dealing with all the wonderful things that we deal with when we rehab houses, contractors, uh, change orders. Then you have the picky buyers, and you have the underwriters and appraisers and home inspectors. Blah, that's all fun.
Right. Whole
Um,
can of worms
Whole can of worms, exactly. What state are you in, by the way, Rob? Oh, you're in Dallas, Texas. That's right.
in Texas. Yeah.
So it says right there in your name. So when you get in there and you have some contractors, it's going to give you a refresher about how much things cost these days. And if you're going to wholesale the deal, you're going to still make money and have a lot of fun in the process and get an education with barely any risk. $10 to $100 and a little bit of your time, which is some would say better than going to a seminar. Ron would disagree, but you don't want to go to a seminar, an expensive seminar where you're getting screwed over, if you know what I'm saying. So that might
Exactly.
be an approach that I would recommend that you consider taking. Any question about that?
No, I think you're absolutely right. It's just going to be a matter of going out there and relearning everything again, getting everything up to date and up to speed.
Get excited. How old are you, man?
I'm 65.
Ah, spring chicken. You got plenty of
Spring
time.
chicken. I'm just hitting my stride.
That's right. Just I love it. I love it. You absolutely are. You absolutely are. And man, you're in Dallas, huh? How about them Cowboys? Were terrible this year. Oh, I can't even
Oh
watch them.
man, I watched that game yesterday. It made me sick to my stomach.
Yeah. I watched a few minutes of the Eagles game. I had to turn it off. I can't take it anymore, man. But you know what? Football this year is for me is horrible. All my teams suck, and all the teams I hate are doing well. Except my Ravens, Baltimore Ravens are doing well. But you know what? I'll take that in exchange for what just happened last week. Hopefully we're all on the same page there. If not, you'll get over it. It's all good. We have a
Well,
beautiful
hey,
day,
that
beautiful
made
times
me
ahead
real
of us.
happy. That made me real happy, and I'm hoping it's going to be good for our business.
You better believe it. It's going to be good for everything all around, I believe. But we'll see what
Tony,
happens.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Pleasure's mine, Robert. Thank you for coming on, my friend. And
You bet.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. And we're going to start to wrap this up. And if anyone has any last minute questions, then we can shoot them down real quick. I'd love to take it for you while we still can. I'll take a few more minutes if you like. Otherwise, I'm going to be going downstairs and making our family dinner. I prepared a gourmet pizza for us tonight. So it's going to be real tasty. Ooh, one of my specialties. So who has a question? Who wants to talk about something? Crack a
Hey,
joke or whatever.
hey, Tony, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I couldn't find any raise hand icon on here, so I thought I'd just butt in if that's okay.
That's totally fine. And this is
Okay.
Mike, right?
Yes, Mike, I'm up in Wisconsin, just so you
Oh,
know.
okay.
Uh, quick
Hey,
question
thanks for your vote last week.
there we go. There we go.
Yes, sir.
Regarding I'll preface this. In Wisconsin got Zillow to join the Wisconsin Realtors Association. That's why Zillow will not show FSBOs for Wisconsin anymore. If you go on there and you look for houses that are not listed by realtors, all the dots disappear. So I'm kind of limited in trying to look, into other states or something. I didn't know if you had any ideas of where the best, where to find FSBOs again in Wisconsin, since Zillow isn't showing it, and that's usually where a lot of these programs scrape for leads. I don't know if
Yes.
I don't know if any other states are running into that yet, but I know Wisconsin did that about a year ago and the Wolves couldn't even find anything. So I didn't know if anything came up since then.
I have a few sources. I actually have some of the stuff on my website I use for my students. And I show them how to find these types of deals, but I didn't know that about Wisconsin here. Let me see. Let me see. Have you gone on fizbo.com and looked on there?
I have, the upside is their listings there. The downside is they don't clean the list. There's stuff that's been there for 12 years.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
they aren't really good about scrubbing their lists.
Wow. Okay. Let me see. I'll give you another one. Go to buy, owner, OWNER daily, DAILY, buyownerdaily.com/investor.
Okay.
This is a site that does an amazing job of scraping for sale by owner leads. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like they have Wisconsin in there. And so if you go on there and you choose your area, you'll get a discount with the affiliate code by entering the word investor. It'll drop it down, save you a few
Oh,
bucks.
okay.
And you get a 14-day free trial. You can choose your area. They're really good. And they send you leads just like the Gold Club. Actually, I understand the Gold Club used to, because the Gold Club's not doing that anymore.
Yeah, the
So
Gold Club, that all swapped out and now it's Ron's Deal Club with multi tiers. I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know what happened to the old. I used to have Dreams Light, which listed the places that I had the VAs call, but that all disappeared. It's not accessible anymore, so I'm not sure what they're going to do about that.
okay.
And
Leave it to Ron to do something, I'm sure.
there we
I
go.
don't know the current deal on that. Forgive me, but there should be some good information. You can always call the Gold Club peeps and ask them what to do now, and they should be able to walk you through it if you need help.
There you go. Okay, I appreciate your time. Yeah, my main question was if you knew any tricks to get Wisconsin FSBOs again. So I'll do the buy owner daily thing, and I'll probably revisit FSBO.com again and see if there's some filters on there that I don't know about. But last time I tried looking there, it did not have a age or duration filter of any kind. So
Good idea. Check out Facebook Marketplace in your area as well.
okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. My pleasure. Thanks for coming on and asking that question. Appreciate it. All right. So, guys, we're going to start to wrap this up. We have gone an hour officially. So, anybody else have any last second question or something you wanted to bring up or anything at all?
I have one more question.
All right. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
so
Tim.
I do remember when I was getting leads from Pat Live. Pat Live would tell me whenever somebody called my number. When I did get people calling, the representative would ask them the questions like, "How much can you put down? How much can you put? How much can you pay a month?" And every number I got was like low. They were low numbers. Like the rent wasn't near what I have to pay, and the down payment wasn't a lot
Yeah.
either. Um,
Uh-huh.
if I continue to get these low numbers, do you think I should like go back to the I guess owner and try to negotiate my price with them to get it lower so I can get
Yeah, but before you do that, you want to call all these buyers back and shake them down a little bit because people are very skeptic. No one's going to, very few people are going to tell you right up front, yeah, I have $50,000 to put down. But if you
Mhm.
as a responsible party calls them back and has a proper conversation, you might find they have more money and test the serious people will find some money. The
Yeah.
majority of people who call back on these rent to own situations, yeah, I might get at $500, I could say 750 a month, you know, some people like that, and their credit is they just got out of bankruptcy. So don't waste your time. They need to have money or credit. We're dealing with a lease option situation. Obviously, you want to have someone who has money and maybe has credit challenges.
Hmm.
So you contact them and find people who do sound legitimate, and you might find something that comes out of that. Now, if you can't find anything after exhaustive, and I mean exhaustive, attempts of marketing and pre-screening and qualifying, then what do you have to negotiate with the seller? In this situation, you have a lease option, so I assume that you got in for little to nothing down, option consideration, maybe $100, right?
No, I did not. I
Ah,
actually,
what's the
yeah,
deal on your entrance with this seller?
with this seller, I tried to get him to do a sub two, and I wrap with that. But he was just worried about his lender finding out. So I actually did have to put down money to lock down this lease option agreement. And
Uh-oh, how much did you put down?
oh man, too much.
Uh-oh,
Uh, yeah.
share it,
So,
brother. What'd you do?
well, I put down 30,000.
What? What?
Yep.
Ah!
I know. I know.
Ah!
So that's why I'm like, I gotta
Hold the
find.
phone. Hold the phone. Sound the alarm, everyone. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm gonna do this. You got this coming, man. You know you have this coming. You gave this seller $30,000 and you didn't even get ownership?
Yep, that's true.
Oh, I'm reaching through this camera and I'm choking you.
Oh, I feel it. Yeah, I
Oh
know.
my God, what do you think? Now, this is what, all right, listen. If you had a mentor, would you have done this? Hell no. No. I would have flown to Chicago myself and, oh man, you gave the man $30,000 and you don't even own the property.
Yep, because that's something that I did ask a mentor about. I mean, not you, but I did ask somebody, and they did say that not that it's okay, but if I do it, just understand the risks, and I did. Um, so I knew what was going on, which is that's what I was seeing as well too, because I was seeing people also say that they were doing it as well. I'm in other real estate groups, and they do that as well. So
Man,
as
how
much
long have
as
you
I
been
don't
in
want to
Planet
do it,
Ron?
uh,
Not long
s-
enough if you're doing something like that. Good
yeah,
Lord.
yeah. So.
Man, you gave, oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. You should feel bad already. I'm sure you do. But you gave him $30,000 for a lease option as option consideration? Wow.
Yeah, yep. So it was mostly written in the contract as yeah, it's written as a down payment, but still the same thing.
Have you already paid the man? Have you already put
Yeah,
the
yeah, it's already done.
Oh, so now you have become the motivated it's seller now. Don't ever do that again. Don't, oh my Lord. Oh, well, what's the R on this house?
The R was actually around 434.
Uh-huh. And what kind of shape's it in?
Oh, it was built in 2021.
Okay.
So relatively new.
Someone said, "Hey man, I need $30,000 to make this deal happen." You like, I'm out. I don't care how nice the deal looks, especially if you're not getting ownership of the property. If he has a lot of equity, like we just talked about, you could consider, man, goodness gracious, you are in a tough position now. You have 30 large at risk. So you got to find a qualified tenant buyer. And they got to be qualified. They can put at least 30,000 plus in your pocket before they get access to this property on the a property with that kind of ARV. I'm sure it's in a good neighborhood. You should be able to find someone. Have you found anybody who is at least interested in the property? They're just not qualified, or you just found no one who's interested?
Yeah, I found some people who are interested. Uh, they just need to have, match the rate that I'm looking for, match the monthly rate. That's the thing. So,
Uh-huh.
yep.
Okay, man, oh man. All right. You may want, like I said, like that suggestion I gave you about talking to a mortgage broker. I would get on that like tomorrow. Even a real estate agent. Find someone who's got some good money to put down because you need to get that money back ASAP with someone who's qualified.
Yeah.
And listen, don't ever do this again. My Lord. I don't this is what happens when you listen to bad advice from people, man. $30,000 you giving it on a sandwich lease option deal. Jeez. In some places that might be considered all right. Not here. Not here. But what's done is done. You can only go forward from here. So every day, every minute of every day, you should have that 30 grand kicking your back of your head. You should be saying, what can I do? What else can I do to get the word out on this property and talk to more people and find someone who is able to cross my palm with 35, 40 plus $1,000 so you can recoup what you put out. How much equity do you have on this house? What is your purchase price and what are you going to put it out as?
Yeah, that's another reason why I felt comfortable, not comfortable, but I got the purchase price down to 415. The seller was trying to sell it to me for 439 or something like that, but I got him down to 415.
Okay. So you got him down to 415 and you gave him 30 grand, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So you're down to 385.
hmm
Okay. And the place is what's the R on it again? For
I,
what?
I'll keep it conservative. I'll say 434.
Okay. So what are you going to put it out on a lease purchase as?
I had it up um at 454. Then I think I lowered it to 449 just to see if that gets any interest.
449.9.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I can live with that number. So when you had people come to the open house and have people respond back, what kind of feedback are you getting? Are they liking the house, not liking the house? Are they liking the price, not liking the price? What do they like, what do they not like?
Um, they don't like the rent to own program. Even though that's what I put up there. They were asking why can't I just buy it right now at the price? Um, and I think one person, um, no, that's mainly the only gripe. One person said that they didn't like the townhouse, they didn't like it at all, or they didn't like it as far as like fitting what they were looking for. Other person just said that they just want to buy it outright, and like that's not what this is for.
Okay, well, why wouldn't you sell it outright?
Because based on what I understand about the strategy, I'm looking for the the cash flow and
What kind of
the
cash flow could you get on this? What's your monthly payment to the seller, and what could you get on it?
the rate to the seller is 3,000. I could get I put it up for 3,300. So I just looking for 300 cash flow. Wasn't
So
looking for
you're
too much.
willing to risk $30,000 and you're trying to hold out on lease option for a $300 a month cash flow on a 400 some thousand-dollar house.
Well, that's what I started the rate at. I was taught that, I can find the highest person that or the person that'll pay the most above what I post. So I started it at $3,300 in case somebody wants to pay more than that.
Uh-huh. And did you get any takers?
Not yet.
Okay. So the great thing about this business is that we can be flexible. Sometimes we need to do what we got to do. If someone's willing to pay you 450 on this house and you can make money and walk away and get that money back in your pocket, uh and make some profit here, it might be worth considering.
Hmm.
Hashtag just saying. If you're not finding any lease option takers and someone's willing to buy it for 450 and you're in there for 415, you got 30 grand at risk and a minimum monthly cash flow, 300 bucks, maybe a little bit more.
Hmm.
I would seriously consider just if someone's willing to buy it outright for a good high price, take the money and run, son. And then
Yeah,
find a better cash flow
that's
deal.
the yeah, for sure. That if I get a buyer that wants to just buy it outright, they would definitely buy it for a little more than what I posted it for.
Yeah. And then be done. Qualify them, get them through a mortgage broker, get your money and keep it moving. And don't ever put 30
Yeah.
grand down. Oh my God. If you get out of this in a decent time frame, consider yourself fortunate. Okay?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I got it.
Cool. Thank you for coming on.
All right, thank you.
And appreciate you being honest. And thanks for putting up with my brutality.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I got to keep it real, man. This is how I roll. Just got to keep it real. Thank you. All right, we
Hey,
got
Tony.
Tony and Angie on here again. You came back, you
Yes.
disappeared, but now you're gonna come back. People had questions for you, man. What's up?
Oh, you had questions for me?
Yeah, somebody wanted to know. I think it was Mike wanted to know how did you find that deal that you were
Oh,
bragging about earlier?
happy to share, man. So I'm using the Ron's platform to pull out leads,
Right?
and I skip traced them and I cold call
Okay. So you found the deal on Ron's deal finder platform.
them.
Skip
Right,
trace and cold call.
correct.
Beautiful. Thank
I
you. And
love
what are
cold
the numbers
calling.
of this? What's the ARV? What type of deal is it?
Okay, now that's what I want to talk to you about.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
so the ARV is
230.
230.
230 ARV.
Okay, now the house was in really bad shape, so much so that according to our estimates, we figured out that the repair work that was needed was how much, honey?
67.
67.
Okay, we'll call it 70
67,
grand.
67K. Now, using that $40,000, I'm sorry, that $40 per square foot rule that you said,
Okay.
we would only come up to 52,320. Now, I wanted to end the call on a happier note. We figured in a $20,000 profit based on that higher repair estimate.
Okay.
So the numbers are screaming, man. They're beautiful. In
What'd you
fact,
get under contract for?
what we get under contract for?
95.5.
Huh?
95.
95.5.
95.5. Okay. Okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. And
So
so you just got it under contract, and
I
that's
mean,
where
we
you're right
got the
now, right?
contract. We got the keys. What's that, brother? I'm sorry, Tony. What did you say?
I said, so that's where it's at right now. You have it under contract.
Yeah, we
Have
got it under
you
contract. They gave
have
us
you
the
checked? Have
keys
you
already.
ordered a title search yet?
The title search is ordered.
Good man. Good job.
We're
And
we're, we're
have you taken pictures? And what is your exit strategy? You going to wholesale it?
yes, absolutely
Nice. And you're going to make at least 20 grand. You're figuring?
correct.
Okay. And what state are you located in?
Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, you're in Columbus. Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. All right. All right. All right. I think there are some laws, restrictive laws for wholesaling in Ohio. Are
Nah,
you have the good
we're good.
team, legal team, and real estate attorney to help you
Yeah,
out?
we're all good there, man.
Beautiful.
They haven't gotten here yet. They're threatening, but they haven't gotten here yet.
Okay. Yeah. A lot is changing over time. Okay. So what was your question? What can I help you with?
So my question is, like I said, use that when you say that $40,000 rule of, I'm sorry, I keep saying 40,000. I'm thinking in the thousands, my friend. When you say that $40 per square foot rule of thumb, does that assume that like everything in the house needs to be rehabbed? How did they come to that $40 per square foot?
Yeah, that's a heavy rehab number. So if it's
That's
just
a
carpet
heavy
and
rehab
paint,
number.
it's going to be like $5 a square foot as a simple way of calculating. A little bit
Uh-huh.
more, maybe some updates, $10 a square foot. You're going to have
Uh-huh.
something more substantial, renovating, structural, maybe you can go 20 a square foot. If it's a bigger rehab, obviously you're looking at $40 a square foot. Sometimes they can even go higher than that, but that's a good number we found works pretty well.
So
Decent.
we may have priced in too much in terms of our rehab number. So my question to you is, should we get some contractors out before we sell it to verify? What would you do?
Right. So you can if you want. Nothing wrong with that at all. How much time did you set it up with the seller before you have to close?
They're happy to be able to have it closed by Christmas.
Very good. What
About 30 days.
have you started marketing the property yet? Have you reached out to We Buy Houses
No,
peeps?
we're waiting for clear title.
Don't wait for clear title. Just call them up and start talking.
Okay.
And here's what you say. Figure out what the profit would be for a rehabber. Let's say $60,000. You go on
Okay.
Google or you drive around, you put a list of maybe 10, 15, 20 We Buy Houses people together. You go, I know Columbus has a great RIA. So if you're not members of that, you
Yes, it
should definitely
does.
be and network with
But
people.
we're all in it.
Man, if you go there, you probably have the house sold like that night. Okay.
I'm
But
thinking the same way.
nice. So know your numbers, and I would recommend that you put a one-page prospectus together that has like a picture of the property, the address, the ARV, rehab estimate, profit estimate, what to do, how to contact you, and first come, first serve. Something like that. Okay. And then you can either take that, a whole bunch of copies and your cards with you to the Columbus RIA and network there, or you can drive around and you can find people who are We Buy Houses guys, and you call them up and say, "Hey, how'd you like to make $60,000 today?" What? This is for the people who actually answer the phone, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and then you'll have their attention. Got to get their attention first. So yeah, I just got to. Are you a wholesaler or a rehabber? By the way, my name is Tony Stewart, not the race car driver, and I'm an investor in the local investor here in this area, and I just got a property under
Yeah.
contract. Are you the right person to talk to about this? Are you buying any more houses these days? Tell me about your business. Let me ask, hey man, what do you do? You rehab houses, you wholesale, what you got going on? How many deals do you do? What's your source of funds when you close these deals? How much time do you need to close? Qualify them. And say, if I find a house in this area that meets your criteria, how fast you want to close? Now, if they say 45, 60 days, wrong person. They're a wholesaler trying to tie up your house. They say, man, if it's clear, and by the way, if you want to separate yourself, you say, if I bring you a property that has good title and the numbers make sense and you're good to go and it's one you're interested in, how fast can you close? If they say something like 7, 10, 14 days, now you're in business. So if you have it under contract and you have it locked up tight, and then you find you got good title, then you can give them the address and send them out. Now, if you really want to do it strong, you can set up an open house for wholesaling. Yeah, why not? I've done this a few times. You get a few people there at once, say, oh my God, my assistant must have scheduled this. Oh, I'm so sorry. And then you talk to everybody. They'll see that there's a feeding frenzy, might even bid the price up. You never know. And at least you'll start to make some good relationships there. That's the fast way of wholesaling a house. All right. Any question?
No, man. I'm so glad I got back on because we were in an area that I lost the signal a little bit, and I was like, I gotta get back on. I even jumped on YouTube for a while because it was easier to get on YouTube and listen. But when I saw you start
This is on YouTube too?
ministering to that guy before me, oh yeah,
man, I would have shaved my head if I knew that. Shoot.
See.
I would have made
when I
myself
saw you
pretty.
minister to that guy, and you were asking for some more questions. I'm so glad
I'm glad
I
you came back on too. I'm glad you came back on too. Yes.
Any other questions about this deal? Anything? Any other advice? So, anything else? Oh, at the open house, do you take deposits from the person who wants to do the house? And how's that work?
If someone's interested, don't let them sleep on it. Get an application. There should be an application receipt agreement that it's on Ron's Gold Club that you collect. Yep. Whatever, say how much you have to put down. You got $1,000, you can wrap this up. But if it's a wholesale deal, that's a bit different than when you're meeting with a lease option tenant buyer. When you're meeting with a lease option tenant buyer and you have an open house, you're going to have as many people who are interested put something in. You say, hey, I'm going to qualify you and get your money back. If you're not the buyer here, I'll get your money back. No problem. If you are, we'll take the money that you put in today and use it towards the option consideration of this property if you are the chosen one. If it's a wholesaler, you can collect and you can still do the same kind of thing if they have a few people there for that, and you can still do the same thing. Typically, when we get money in from an investor rehabber, that locks them in. But you don't want to lock them in if you can avoid it. So check with your local peeps as far as your realtor, not your realtor, your RIA club, and ask what's legal there. Because I don't want to give any. I'm not an attorney. Don't play one on TV. I'm just telling you from my experience and what I do in my business. So if you can collect several you can collect several deposits from people at the same time, and those who are interested, and say, I'll give your money back if we don't sell the house to you, I'll give your money back, or we can use this for the next deal I find you, whatever. And then if the one who does wind up being the buyer, then you take that and put it towards your assignment fee. Okay.
So what would be a reason? I mean, let's say we collect $1,000 from someone, from a bunch of someones. What would be a reason why we wouldn't go with somebody? I mean, it's not like they have to have, go through screenyourtenant.com or anything like that.
Right. Good question. So why would you not sell to someone if you get the heebie-jeebies from they're paying the butt? Listen, your right buyer is going to say, hey, man, I'm ready to close. I got the money. I got this all set up. I'm ready to close with the funds. I got money to come to the table. I'm ready to pay this. That's a great one. That's what you want to go with. Unless, I mean, it's up to you. If you have a few people saying, hey, I got the money. How much are they paying you? I'll pay you more. All right. That may be something to consider. They've got to be qualified. They got to be real players, not posers. You want to deal with players, not posers. And definitely no punks. All right. So those are some ways it would qualify them. And if you know people who know them, if people have a reputation, that is worth a lot. If they have a good reputation, that's worth a lot. If they have a bad reputation, you already know. I could tell you horror stories, my personal experience over the years. Good Lord. At this point, I can smell bullshit 15 miles away.
That's good.
And I'm sure you do too. So, you know what I'm saying? So go with
No,
the best
I appreciate
who
that.
has the highest likelihood of closing, who can pay the most. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm sorry, I just got a ting on my phone about the Republicans keeping control of the House, and it kind of messed up the last line you said. But I got the gist of what you said, so thank you.
I got you. I got you. All right. No problem. Thank you for coming on, guys. My name is Tony Pearl in Tampa, Florida. I am a mentor with Ron. I've been doing this like 9 years with Ron. I've been buying and selling houses since the mid to late 90s. Done a whole mess of deals, all different kinds of transactions. I'm a transaction engineer. I know this business up and down unlike anybody else. And I love what I do. And I love being a mentor. I love helping and coaching and teaching people. If you are looking for a qualified, awesome mentor who's not too bad on the eyes, I like to think, and is fun to talk to, help in your business, and you don't have a mentor, then you may want to talk to Global and let them know, hey, that Tony Pearl guy, he's kind of cool. I might want to work with him. And let them know, and they'll hook you up, and we'll have a chat, and I'll take great care of you. And if I suck, I'll be the first one to say, hey, let's get this person another mentor, and we're not a good fit after all. Hasn't happened yet. You could always be the first. You never know. But in the meantime, I'm going to wish you all a wonderful night, a wonderful week. Take care. God bless. Thank you all for coming out and staying out. I see everyone who came out has been here the whole time. Even Rex, who had a mentor session with me earlier today. You hadn't got enough. So it's all good. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. Happy Veterans. Oh man, I should have said this at the beginning. Happy Veterans Day. Hey, who's a veteran here? Oh man, wait. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much for your service. Your sacrifice helps keep this country free. My whole family's veterans. So I got a huge spot in my heart for the military and what we got going on. And I have a son on active duty in Japan. He's in the Air Force, and he's doing really well. The Air Force has done a great job for him. So God bless you all. Thank you so much for coming out. And I will hopefully see you at an event somewhere, somehow, online or offline, very soon. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got a pizza to make. Actually, it's already made. Just got to heat it up. So I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Those of you going to commercial this week, have a great time. Those of you
Thank
going
you so
to,
much.
my pleasure. Those of you going to Quick Start next week, have a great time as well. Take notes, learn a lot, stay blessed by the